I'm now joined by Business Unity South Africa, the head Kanyisile Kweyama, and she's also the Vice President of the Chamber of Mines, of course a well-known figure involved with Anglo as well. Welcome to you, Kanyisile.
Thank you.
So was this a business-friendly budget?
We wouldn't say too business-friendly, but we also wouldn't say it's terribly unfriendly. So a number of things that we were expecting, not as harsh as we did. I think the taxes issue, obviously, as corporates, that will be hard hitting not only just us as corporates, but also to our workers.
But he didn't touch corporate taxes. What
he didn't touch it as overtly as that, but they can be implied. You know, you heard about the increases in energy, and for the mining industry in particular, he said that there will be more pain felt by the intensive users, and for our businesses,
and carbon
that's a
tax
number
is
of
coming in 2017. So
yeah.
Business knows
so
there
we
will
know
be more
that it's
costs.
coming, and as much as we say it's not overt, but you know that it's embedded in there. I mean, there was some relief for employees, but at quite a low income level. As soon as you get into the higher income levels, then they will start feeling the pain as well. And the result of that is that you will find more increases on the labor, on the salary increase demands. So you will find that we are probably in for hard wage negotiations in some of the sectors that are going in for wage negotiations. I think the biggest concern for us is the growth forecast, which has been reduced further, and we are getting the opposite direction of the 5% that we need. So that for us is also hard.
Well, a lot of people are saying maybe we need to do things differently. I mean, this has been a problem for years. The growth forecast consistently declining, unemployment just staying stuck at incredible levels. Did we need something more radical? And what would it be? What would be the answer?
Well, I think the creation of a better investment climate for us has always been a rallying call for business. That if we feel that the climate promotes a healthy investment via foreign direct investment, as well as via some of the incentives that we could be offered as businesses that create jobs, that make it easier for us to absorb that would have been welcome from businesses side. So I think for the minister, he was treading very carefully, and he managed to do that, but it doesn't shatter us in that sense. It's not that earth-shattering that we needed to see that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, what has gone wrong, Kanyisile? Because if you look at the contribution from companies, the minister has alluded to this, it used to be around 28% of the revenue coming in. For this year, it's 18%, a huge difference since 2008, I believe. So why is this happening? Why is business profitability and therefore tax going down at this incredible rate?
Yeah, and he did say that, you know, because companies are not as profitable as they used to be, there are measures of production, the wage increases have increased significantly, the costs of doing business, whether it's via the input costs such as energy. So energy just keeps on propping out quite significantly. Those have grown, and whenever you read, whether it's in the mining industry, whether it's in any sector, that is saying we have to reduce overheads, we have to manage our costs better, and their reason is always the input costs have increased significantly. So that is really where it has gone wrong, and that is where the solution lies in terms of us making the necessary interventions and how government promotes that and creates the necessary framework to ensure that we are making the profits that we need.
So you're talking about government a lot here, implying that government has the ability to change things quite drastically if it makes business feel better. Just his rhetoric today did seem to be very encouraging. It seemed like he was trying to cross this bridge that a lot of people talk about between business and government. Were you encouraged?
Yeah, no, I think we are encouraged. You know, the Operation Pakisa is a big one that has recognized that government on its own is not going to make it, that there is a partnership that is required with the private sector. We see that in the energy interventions as well, where those that energy task team that has been put into place, business is playing quite a significant role as in that, as well as the independent power producers. So there is a recognition that you cannot do it on your own as government. But in terms of creating the framework and just that whole environment that is conducive, it still comes back that is entirely in government's ambit, and we need to do the government needs to do more of that.
So I'm getting the sense from you, a business wants to trust government more. But what about trust for business now? Because we've heard a lot of more left-leaning organizations just talking about the way government panders to capital. Horrible capital that doesn't care about people. How does business change its reputation as well in this country?
Well, and as you say, trust is both ways. You know, it has to be a mutual trust. And here we are talking about government and business, but there is obviously the additional factor, which is labor itself, that feels that, well, as you say, big bad capital. But we always say that in order for us to thrive and do the things that we need to do for our employees and have the environment that is conducive for us to have the necessary profits that will then go into developing communities, into making sure that workers feel that they are also part of the equation. We do need that partnership with everybody, and for us to point fingers and say who's the bad guys, who are not the bad guys, is not making progress. But it's just that, and trust is you have to operationalize it so that you just have that operational trust. You don't have to think you're my best friend tomorrow, but you need to focus on the same goal. And if the goal is to make the company grow, make the industries grow, and in return make the country grow, then at some stage we need to just sit around the table and make sure that we are having those necessary conversations, and we do put some things aside and focus on the things that make us succeed.
Thank you very much. Kanyisile Kweyama, head of Business Unity South Africa, Vice President of the Chamber of